Hey there, it's King Coral, and today I would like to talk about the pros and cons of not using your phone for a full week. So the first thing that I noticed, one of the cons, was that I didn't have an alarm clock because I was using my phone for it. So when I got prepared on Sunday to be able to start on Monday without a phone, I had to borrow an alarm clock from my family. Then once I got on the bus, another con, I noticed I can't listen to music. I was on the bus and I noticed you're more aware of your surroundings if you don't use headphones, because it's very easy to just zone out and feel like you're in a music video or something. Like, you're definitely feeling like you're somewhere else with your mind if you listen to music versus being present. I noticed my senses will be stronger, like walking around and stuff. Like, I would hear things that I didn't hear before. You shift your focus and you're more present. So I would say that one is like a pro and a con, because at some point you're so used to listening to music all the time and you really enjoy it. In the beginning, it really feels unpleasant to not be able to listen to music, but with time you also get used to that. I noticed that our mind is wandering. We worry about tests that might come up. We're not in the situation of the test. It's like a week or two before, but we are already scared that we are going to fail. Like, we're worrying about so much stuff in the future that we don't have control of. There's like very little amount of time where we are really present. And another thing that I noticed, not being on the phone, like when it comes to eating, it's way better to really put all digital devices away while you're eating, because it's important that you look at the food that you're eating. Your eyes will send like certain informations to your brain, what kind of food you're eating, so they already, like, your body already knows how to digest the food properly. Because if you distract yourself too much, that way it could be that you might end up eating too much. And it's way healthier to really be present while you're eating. That's something that I noticed without a phone, that I was definitely more present than I would normally be. Another thing, in that week I had a doctor's appointment and I don't have a watch. So when I got to the city, I know what time my bus stops at a certain, bus stop, but I didn't know. Like, I was walking there, I think I got there like 40 minutes before my appointment, and in the waiting area, they didn't have a clock. So I totally did not know what time it is. And it was literally 40 minutes just looking at the wall. And I was like, wow, that just felt like such a time waste. But it also made me realize, like, I could have brought a book, and not having a watch is really difficult. Another con that I noticed, that it's really difficult to meet people if you don't have a phone. I could, arrange like to meet my friends after school or something. Like at school, I could be like, oh, are you free tomorrow? And my last con that I had was, and that's when I stopped doing my challenge. So I didn't do it fully until Sunday. I stopped on Saturday because I was going to the club and I was like, I don't want to go there without my phone in case there's any kind of like emergency happening. And that's when I stopped and realized, having a phone has a lot of benefits that come with it, like a lot of different kinds of services that are in our small device, but it really helps us, with the alarm, not having to use a watch all the time. Like, you just have the device and it has so many benefits. But let's talk about the benefits without a phone that I realized. The first thing that I noticed is I have way more time than I thought I had. I remember the first day I was like in my room sitting there and I was like, what should I do? I was looking at things. I started to find new things in my room that I didn't realize I still had them. We always say like, oh, we don't have time to read here or to finish this and that. And that's like a moment when you realize you actually have way more time if you're completely not on your phone. Another thing I noticed is I spent way more time with my family. I ended up like asking them like, oh, can we do like a board game? And they also enjoyed it too. I think it's like very easy to get caught up in our day-to-day life, doing all these things like cooking, cleaning, washing our clothes and stuff. It takes up a lot of time of our day to do all these things, and then also to socialize on top. That a lot of the time we don't even feel like socializing because we're just exhausted. But that definitely made me realize that because I didn't spend that amount of time on my phone, I was able to do more things with my family, and that was really nice. Another thing that I noticed is that I felt happier. I didn't have anything I felt like to worry about in that week. It felt nice. I was like dedicating time to myself, and I was really listening to myself. What do I really want to do in that moment? Even though I thought I would probably feel very lonely, I didn't feel lonely at all in that week because, like I said, I spent more time with my family, and I got to do stuff inside of my room and find things that I didn't know I had. You know, create stuff like with my hands, or find like old pictures and taking the time to really put the pictures in like photo book. And that's really nice to get stuff done, especially if you use your hands for it, and then you really see like, oh, I really accomplished something, and that's going to make you feel really happy. Another thing, I didn't have any FOMO, no more fear of missing out on anything, because I didn't have a phone. I didn't see what people were posting. I didn't see any news of any wars happening. So I really just felt happy, and I was like, that's crazy how something small, I would say, has such a big impact on how you're feeling. And that's why I'm saying, like, our devices are so powerful, and you know, the photos that we are clicking, you know, all these algorithms of all these different kinds of like social media platforms are based on what people are clicking. And it's just like the news, they just report about negative things 95% of the time, because that's what's triggering people, and that's what makes people talk about things. Because fear is triggering us, like we don't want to live in fear, so we're spreading the words way faster than if it's like good news. That just made me realize how powerful our devices are in the kind of stuff that we're consuming because we feel triggered. Like I know a lot of people that get caught up in like negative comments under like certain posts, and it's really draining their energy, but we can't change that. Like there's always going to be people that hate about you or something that you do, and it can be really hard to receive all that. And it's the same thing that I was facing during this YouTube. Like I was really scared that people would comment like bad or mean things, but it's important to see like, okay, that's a person that I don't want to be surrounded by. My conclusion of this experiment is that I would say it was really interesting to see the good and the bad sides of it, and also to kind of pinpoint that the main problem of my time that I spend, like my screen time that I spend on my phone, is mainly social media. That's the problem. It's not really my phone in general, because I noticed if we delete all social media on our phone, we still have ways that we can text our friends, we can still listen to music, set our alarm, see the time of the day, you know, have the notes apps where we can just write down something real quick. There are so many benefits of our phone that just make life easier on a day-to-day basis. And the stuff that's addicting of our phone or making our screen time up is usually always social media. And that's why I want in the future to incorporate more social media detox, where I say, okay, I will not use social media for a week. And you can also just minimize the amount of time that you spend on social media. You don't necessarily have to say like, okay, I'm completely trying to force myself to stay away of it, because that's really hard too. But I think if you incorporate it like a week out of the month, or you're saying like my daily limit is like 1 or 2 hours and that's it. So you don't end up getting on Instagram to send something to someone, and then once you open up Instagram and see your explore page, you're in that rabbit hole of like scrolling and scrolling, and then you're like, oh, that wasn't even the reason why I wanted to get on Instagram. That's the thing, like we really have so much power of what we are going to consume. You know, we like a couple of posts about something specific, and then that's everything we're seeing. So it's important to really also declutter and look at who are you following. I unfollowed so many news pages and like gossip pages that just hate about certain celebrities and spread fake news and stuff. And like even if it's real news, it's like it's not relevant to my life, it's not adding to my life. So I was like, I unfollowed them, and I instantly felt better like the following days to not see that on my feed, like all these negative comments under that post and that post itself. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!